Deconverted Man here. I hate this movie. Thanks for watching. Alright, so I said I was going to watch this movie so that you didn't have to and then review it. Why did I do this? I don't know. So this is part one because, I don't know, I'm about 40 minutes in and I just had to stop for a while so my brain didn't melt. Okay, so immediately and out of the gate, just instantly, you have persecution as far as the eye can see. Just everyone's being persecuted for being a Christian everywhere. Just it's rampant. Okay, so the plot, if you can call it that, is the preacher guy from the last few movies. Uh, he's now working for or has helped get together a bunch of homeschooling groups, and he teaches theology. Today he's talking about the ark, and then this social worker just shows up and is like, I need to inspect your curriculum, your classroom. And then she's like just rude to him, like straight up rude to him, because, she's just a jerk and we're supposed to hate her, I guess. And then there's this Chinese dude. I don't know any of the names of the characters, and I'm not gonna learn them because I don't care about this movie. But I'm watching it so that you don't have to. Anyways, this guy he knows about. Oh, he loves America. He knows about American history. He's like, oh yeah, I love it. Took my citizenship test, and I'm so America's awesome, and China is repressive, and we have no freedom. Anyways, he can't go back to China because persecution has become so bad. His family won't talk to him, all because he's a Christian. They're cracking down on Christianity and other religions too, but mostly Christianity, And then the gal that he's talking to, she's like, well, my dad's like down the street, but he won't talk to me either because I'm a Christian. Because it's a typical thing that people won't talk to you if you're a Christian. That's so common these days. Anyways, all right. Then there's this flashback to I guess the past movie. Actually, there's a number of callbacks to God's Not Dead 3. Now, and I'm not gonna watch that movie because I watched 1 and 2, and this is hurting me to watch it. Like, I'm in physical pain watching this movie, mental physical pain, mental leave, whatever. I don't like this movie. I said that already, but it just bears repeating. Okay, so this Nigerian man, I guess, was like friends with the pastor, whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, in my country, like, people walk like a day to get to church, and they're really happy, and then when they have a gun pointed to their head and they say, denounce Christ, they pray to Jesus, and they're like, I'm coming soon. That's what faith is. And then I guess they get killed. So then how did he know, like, what they said, if this is happening, like, a lot? Like, who's telling the pastor guy from Nigeria, or whatever his role is? I don't know what he was doing over there. Maybe he's just a guy that's over. I'm assuming he's like a missionary or whatever. But, like, okay, so he knows the people. How does he know the people are getting a gun pointed to their? Because they show up dead with a bullet in their head, like, the next day. And so he's like, he deduces what happened. But how does he know what conversation took place? Because they're dead. The bad guy, I don't think the bad guy would tell him what they had done. So, like, is somebody, like, always conveniently hiding in a closet or in the bed or attic or basement or whatever and overhearing everything that it's kind of like, here's the thing, like, in the Bible, right? Jesus goes off into the desert to get tempted for a while. And, like, it details this whole thing where he's tempted, and he's tempted by the tempter, which later is written as the devil, but it wasn't ever originally the devil. But whatever, got to put the devil in the Bible because we invented the devil, so we got to shove him in. Anyways, so he's tempted. and then he goes, he beats the temptation. He doesn't give in, and he goes back to his followers, and they do whatever else. And at no point does it say like, and then Jesus told them what happened. So like, who like, how did they figure this out? Like, how do they know what went down? What the conversation was so detailed, right? So the only way you can know the story is you have an all-seeing narrator. Now, for stories, written stories, movies, TV shows, there's an all-seeing narrator that's in charge of everything, that's controlling, knows what's going on, and the all-seeing narrator can show us things, show us what the bad guys are up to. The good guys are up to X, and the bad guys are up to Z. The good guys don't know what the bad guys are up to, and sometimes the bad guys know what the good guys are up to, or whatever. Maybe they do know, but but they don't. Let's just say they don't. So but we know, and we're like, oh no, they've got a plan to capture the heroes, and it's like you want to tell them, but you can't, and that creates suspense, right? But in reality, you're just you, and you have no idea what the bad guys are doing, so that you don't cut away and get to see what they're doing in reality. So you don't get to know that story, right? So who's telling this? Anyways, so people die in Nigeria because they're Christians. Okay. Then, okay, back to the homeschool. So the teacher was there. She made fun of Noah's Ark. She's like, what's this whole thing about? It's just like, why did the animals, like, what did they do to deserve death? And that was like actually a good point, a good question she asked, which the pastor doesn't even try to answer. But she says it like in a bitchy way because you're supposed to hate her because she's a bitch character. Like, it's just like she could be a guy bitch character. Doesn't But I'm just saying, like, that's the character, her persona is. She's bad. You're not supposed to like her. So she's immediately like dismissive of him, like, I don't care about you, I just care about the parents and the students. It's like, yeah, but if he's leading the class right now, then you would care about him and why he's there and what he's doing. And she's like, well, I think that lesson was just about to fear God. Like, and she's like, here's my recommendation to the state, and gives the gal a copy. I'm sitting there going like, bullshit to all of this, because this is not how social services works at all. They don't just show up to investigate a homeschool. Not for no reason. Somebody would have to report some shenanigans going on for them to show up. Okay, that's first of all. Secondly, you're probably not going to get a copy of anything from the gal. She's not there, or the guy. And usually there's two of them, but at any rate, you're not going to get any information about what they think or what they're going to do or whatever. More than likely not. You're not going to get told that, because they're, depending on what they were called for, that, and their methodology can be questioned, should be questioned. That's a whole conversation in and of itself. The movie doesn't care because it needs a bad guy. It needs somebody to start this insanity going. So we're just going to ignore what really happens in actual reality and do this, and that's what we're doing. Anyways, so then they're talking about the public school system, and this gal's like, my second grade student, she was given a brochure on birth control. Oh, the horror! And I'm like, do they? I'm typing into Google, do they give out information on birth control in second grade? And I couldn't find anything that suggested that they do. However, it is true that the sooner kids learn about sex and birth control and STDs and all that, the better off they are, both in being aware of how to protect themselves if they want to do that stuff. One. Secondly, protect themselves against people that might want to mess with them in a sexual way, so they can know what's going on and not just be ignorant to the facts. And then third, teaching sex decreases the likelihood of teen pregnancy like a lot. Abstinence only doesn't work. This has been shown over and over again to be the case. But we're going to just ignore that and be like, oh no, that's bad. I don't want them exposed to that. All right. Anyway, so China banned homeschool for indoctrination reasons. That's what the China guy brings up. Now, I had to look that up. It's actually true. They did ban homeschooling in China, and it seems like, yeah, it was because of indoctrination reasons. So, hey, point to the movie actually said something real. That's bad, but we're not China. So I guess you're supposed to be like worried now, like America's going down that path. I guess that's why we're being told this, like, in the movie thing. Anyway, so all of this stuff, the school stuff and the homeschool stuff, somehow is noticed by a congressman. I just cuz he did. What? How? I don't know. He's from Texas, of course, because Texas, that's godly country. Yeah, go, I guess. I don't know. Anyways. So, meanwhile, so we got a subplot to the movie that has nothing to do with I hate the subplot. Subplot can suck a lemon. 17-year-old, I guess he is 18. I don't know how old he is. But he's a kid. He's in love with this girl that's selling a car. Ooh, he's getting lust. He's going to hell for that. Yeah, for sure. Just he's looking at her like, well, what do you think? And he's like, she's beautiful. I mean, the car, he's like drooling from his mouth over this girl. It's complete, and she knows. And he buys the car from her. I don't know, like, what sort of research he does in the car. So he could be buying a lemon. But anyways, he's definitely in lust, but it's okay, I guess, because she lost an earring in the car. He finds the earring, and he's like, he messages her about the earring, shows her a picture, and then they're going on a date. So obviously God ordained that this 17-year-old is going out with a girl that's about to go to college. So maybe he's 18, but she's like older, than 18-ish. Like maybe she's 9. I don't know what the age is. They don't say, but it's kind of like, what's going on here? Like, shouldn't this be a thing? Anyways, whatever. So the gal's husband died in an accident. She brings this up back to the gal, and she's like upset about that. I'm like, why is she sad? Shouldn't she be happy he's in heaven? Like, I don't get that. But they're sad when people are dead in the movie. That's weird. Whatever. Anyway, so she talks about how her kid is special needs, and if she's, because they're going to be forced to send their kids to public school or change their curriculum by the state. Like, the state's like, look, you change your curriculum or you send your kids to public school in a week. If you don't do that, then you're going to get fined $1,000 a day, and then you're going to be put in jail for contempt of court, and then then somebody else will be giving your kids, and they'll send them to school. And I'm like, really? And the judge also happened to have dealt with the pastor in the previous movie, so she hates him, and he like speaks up from like the audience row, which I'm pretty sure you can't do in court. So she's like, you could tell them all about being held in contempt of court. So she hates him. So that would be like a mistrial, and they don't have any lawyers or anything. They're just kind of there. And like, would it be dealt with in a family court if it's to deal with multiple people? I don't know. I don't know if any of this makes any actual legal sense. But it's a movie, so whatever. Anyways, but the mom is worried that if they send their kid to the public school because he's special needs, they'll label him, and then they'll just put him in special ed, and bad stuff will happen. Because now look, there's a commentary, giving props, even though they don't deserve it, giving props where it's due. There's a little bit of commentary here worth maybe exploring in a far better movie than this, but with the special needs kids, that public schools don't always do that well. And there is something to be said for how that's done, and having a homeroom that's specifically just for the special needs kids, and not incorporating them with as many non special need kids classes as you can, and making sure that the labels are correct, making sure the diagnostics are in place, etc. And that's something worth exploring. But we're not going to do that because that's not the sort of movie this is. We're just like, oh, if they send him to public school, they don't know what to do for him, but I do. No, you don't. You're not an expert. You have no idea what the bleep you're doing. Anyways, um, yeah, so what is this? I hate this movie. Let's see. So they go to Washington, a whole bunch of them, no idea how they got the money to do that. But whatever, we're in Washington, so we go around sightseeing America. Yeah, woo, freedom. Yay, we get to do this, monologue about freedom this, freedom that. And then, did you know the Washington Monument has the phrase "Lados Dios" up like in the inside of the top, and that means praise God. Yeah, those words are overlooking the most powerful place in the nation. LOL, pwned, checkmate, atheist. And I looked in again because I didn't believe anything this movie was telling me, and it's like, yeah, no, those words are on this plaque inside of the Washington Monument, and I guess whoever it was that, I don't know, some names are on this plaque. And then there was kind of a minor like uh uh incident where they had to refurbish the plaque, and they tried to hide the words or get rid of the words that mean praise God. And then oh no, you can't do that. And I'm like, so the opposite of, that. So it's they could have used that in the movie, and said, oh, and made a big deal out of that or whatever. But the thing is, they won the right to keep those words there. They didn't get taken away. So, you know, but it's not the only monument that has some sort of religious thing said on it. And so they're acting like this means something or significant beyond what it is. Anyway, so then we talk about Common Core. And basically, we're told this curriculum says there's no such thing as truth, everything's relative, everything's subjective, and that the Common Core people, hate homeschooling, kill homeschools. They're bad, and especially the Christian worldview, but because that one's really super mega bad. We got to get rid of the Christian worldview because we just do. So I got a couple links to Common Core. Now, there are problems with it, to be sure. Again, for a more sophisticated, in-depth, intelligent movie, this would be something to explore. An actual, real subject that's worth talking about and going into depth with, and the problems with it, because there's a lot of problems with Common Core. But nothing I could find that suggested that it teaches everything is subjective and that there's no truth. Because if you taught that there is no truth, then that wouldn't be true. So how could you teach that? It doesn't really make sense. Oh, also, because it's teaching that there's no truth, then the morals are just relative. And if you don't need morals, then you don't need God. See, so the Common Core that's against homeschooling, even though it's not in reality, but we're pretending in the movie that it is, that thing is out to kill Christianity, specifically Christianity. Like other stuff, it's going to hurt, but mostly Christianity. So, yeah. I'm going to have a couple links to Common Core stuff that I found. in the description. And that's it. That's the 40-minute mark, 39 minutes, 46 seconds or so. I'm into it. And I have to keep watching this movie so that I can have a part 2 of this review. And I don't want to do it, but I said I was going to do it. I don't know why I said that. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, there he goes. So far, they've got a couple of things that are actually kind of true and a whole lot of persecution complex, which is what these movies are about. Is we're being persecuted. Woe us Christians, we're being persecuted left, right, up and down. This is about freedom. This is about freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. Like, you can have whatever religion is, but your things have to be up to standards. Now, there is a little, again, in a better movie, there's a little bit of truth in standards across schools, and that each school district has certain things that you have to turn in to them for your homeschooling work to prove that work has been done. And that's up to each individual district. It's not like that's not really something decided at a state level per se. Some of it is, but it's a lot of complex politics that the school system is mired in, perhaps too much. And if we were in a better movie to actually dive into these issues, we could talk further about them and actually address these real issues. But we're in this crappy movie where we have to pretend that Christians are being persecuted, even though that's not true. And that's what the movie is about. We're just using the school thing as a thing. And of course, the pastor's having the flashbacks to how badly court wound up for him, like in the last movie. And so it's just whatever. All right, look forward to next time, part 2, where I keep doing this, and I'll do that whenever. I hate this movie. This sucks. All right, bye.